I just feel like there needs to be some wedding guest etiquette. I think
101.
I think people need to be reminded as a wedding guest how you should act.
You can please some of the people all of the time,
You can please all of the people some of the time.
but you can't please all of the people all of the time.
Welcome to the People Pleasers Podcast. Oh, I have my other socks on. I was going to say,
like, cool.
It's our matching socks.
I love your pants.
Thank you.
You look so cute.
Thanks. I just love the yellow.
Springy.
I needed some happy vibes. I was like, it's 38 degrees, but I just need some yellow.
Put on your positive pants.
How many years later?
I know.
And I'm still
holds
doing
true.
it. Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Thanks. How you doing? How's your... It's a Monday this week.
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday. We're starting a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's post-wedding Monday.
Yeah, you had your first wedding of the year.
I did.
How was it?
It was really good.
Good.
It was very nonstop.
Yeah.
Very nonstop. But it was really good. It was a good vendor team. It was a lot of fun. I love the couple, especially Taylor. Shout out to Taylor, the bride.
Aw.
She's just so sweet, and she was just so happy all day,
Yeah.
and it was just good vibes all around.
Good.
So-
the florals looked beautiful.
Yeah,
That's I saw the most of. She looked beautiful. Did
Yeah.
she put on her mom's dress at the end?
She did. She had her mom's dress shortened, and
She
then
kept the sleeves.
I know.
I was like, yes, girl.
I loved it. I know.
Yeah.
She looked so cute. And she had like the cutest little Converses on with it. Yeah. Emma with Florography did the florals. She did an amazing job.
Killing it.
One of her employees, ?
Yeah.
Assistants?
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what her title is. Cut her hand open. Yeah. Well, during setup. So she had to leave and go get
that's
stitched
terrifying.
up. I know. But other than
stitched
that,
up. Oh, so it was like a bag.
I wasn't there when it happened, but allegedly, yes, according to Emma. So I know.
Oh no.
I know. So that was something random that happened on the day, out of the ordinary. But
Everything turned out fine.
Yeah.
And they're okay.
yeah,
Good.
Yeah, she's good as far as I know.
Good.
Stitched up, but
Stitched up
but
and
yeah, it was good. I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed right now.
Yeah.
We're at the start of wedding season. What we talked about, covering for Corey right now. So just the load is a little extra.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do my best to take care of myself as well, because I know that rest days are needed,
Yes.
and I'm only going to be the best version of myself if I take a day
Yeah.
to, reset
yourself.
before focusing on the next one. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm proud of you.
thank you.
You're doing great.
Thank you. I needed
Even
that.
if it doesn't feel like it,
Can
you are.
you tell?
Remember, 150%, 100%.
Right.
150.
95?
Not
No.
80.
Yeah.
80 is still fucking great.
Right.
Like, give yourself the grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. How
You're
was your
welcome.
weekend? You went to
It
Mallory's
was
wedding.
good. Yes, it was really, really fun. Holt and I decided to kind of make a weekend out of it. So we went down there on Friday, and we just had reservations to go get some dinner. We went to the Philbrook Museum.
Oh, yay. You were so excited about that.
Yeah,
Did it
was-
live up to the hype?
It did. It was cool because they had their like Art in Bloom festival. So
Ooh.
all the florals that I was posting, normally not what they
Yeah.
do. But it's basically they like pair with local florists, or I think from what my understanding was, to like imitate some of the art in the museum.
Oh, so cool.
So
That's
it
right
was
up your
just,
alley.
I know. I was like, this is nice. I like this a lot. So it was in certain exhibits or certain rooms. And it was cool. It was cool to see another museum. I love the Nelson. So it was kind of cool to see a different
Tulsa's
museum.
version.
Tulsa's version. Yeah. And their grounds are beautiful. I was a little sad. It was very rainy and freezing. Or else we probably could have sat outside for like 5 hours, but
Right.
it was still really nice to have a weekend together and then celebrate Mal and Jacob was really fun.
Yeah.
So it was really
And the
good.
wedding itself was a lot of fun.
Yes. Yeah. It was
Good.
fun. It was a packed dance floor. It was just good people. And it was cool to see a lot of girls from my pledge class that I haven't seen since college. So it was cool to see them again and just catch up and see how everyone was doing. It was good.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
It was
I'm glad you
nice.
got to get away.
Yeah.
Have some one-on-one time with Holt, too.
Yeah. It was a good, just little getaway weekend for us and celebrate our friends at the same time. So yeah.
Amazing.
I know. It was really nice. I
What more
liked
could
it.
you ask for?
I know, right? It was perfect. It was
Maybe
great.
some sunshine, but that's okay.
Maybe a little bit of sunshine.
That
That would have been nice. Yeah.
We're letting that go.
Yes, we are. But this episode, we're kind of diving back into weddings. We've had so many amazing guests.
I know.
That we were like, we should probably revisit our wedding education.
Part two. Long overdue.
Yes. But it's kind of nice too, because I got to talk to you about it from more of a bride perspective in kind of like the area that I'm in right now. So.
Right. Questions that you have with your planning process, which is exciting that you're the one in the position now.
I know. Yes.
We're not just talking about it. It applies to you.
No, it applies to, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
It's not just questions.
Right.
It's a whole ass conversation.
Yeah.
So that's what we're getting into this week, with a little bit of some wedding guest etiquette.
Yes.
Some maybe
Sprinkled
feelings I've had lately or last year that we just kind of have thoughts on being a wedding guest. Kind of what that looks like, what that means, and all of it in between. So
yeah. Without further ado,
enjoy our thoughts on weddings. Okay, well, obviously I am a newly engaged woman.
You are?
I am.
No.
In case you didn't know.
I didn't.
Now you know.
Now I see.
It's been a while since we have jumped back to more of like the wedding talk. We've had a lot of awesome guests, but we thought we should probably get back to our wedding education.
Part two, finally.
Yes. Which is good, because now I'm engaged. So this is vital information for myself to have.
Exactly.
And kind of talk through. And I get to actually ask you questions both as a friend and a planner.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
I know.
So let's see. Okay, so part one.
What questions do you have?
How much time do we have?
Right. Part one. We talked about you have your whole vendor team hired.
Yes.
I think we talked about sending save the dates. Did we? We're not sure.
Maybe.
So you should have sent save the dates.
So if you haven't done that, do it.
Which also means you have your wedding website.
Yes.
At least up and running. You've got the important information at this point in time that guests need to know.
You've got a lot of the big pillars.
Yes.
The big boxes.
The big
boxes have been checked.
Who is that? Mario.
The big boxes have been checked. So now we're kind of like, are we slowly kind of getting into more nitty gritty, or like kind of still broad?
No, we can start getting into more the nitty gritty.
This is more nitty gritty.
Right.
Okay.
So you're going to finalize everything closer to, but as far as like big picture design, at this point, you already have your florist booked, and you've got like your initial floral proposal that you're going off of.
Yep.
But I always like to, when starting with design, I like to start going through that current proposal that you have.
How, without asking too much, how do you start? Like, where do you start with design? Like, is it, this is going to sound stupid, but like, is it colors? Is it photos? Is it floral? Like, what do you kind of stem off of?
So I like, well, obviously to start would be the colors and like the overall event style.
Yeah.
So like, are you more classic, romantic? Are you more modern?
The vibes.
Right. Okay. Exactly. Do you want, when it comes to guests, do you want all of your guests in a certain color, or, like all of those details? Cause that's all going to play into the design.
That makes sense.
So that's why I would do that first. Kind of hand in hand with the vendor hiring. That's one of the first things that you're kind of thinking through. You're putting together an initial Pinterest board. You're kind of getting a feel for what you like when it comes to style and colors.
Which
at that
I guess we did kind of say that last time, because the vendors that you hire go into the vibe you're wanting to curate, which also goes into like your venue. So I guess you have like the preliminary vibes. Now you're really digging deep into
into that
those vibes.
So right. So your vendors have already been told all this. And of course this can change.
Right.
Nothing's set in stone per se, besides who you're working with
at
this point in time. But that's why I always like to start with, okay, let's start with the flowers.
Yeah.
So we already have an initial floral proposal. Let's go line item by line item. Do we still like the flower types that are being presented? Do we still like these colors? Do we have enough? Have we thought of every area that needs to have flowers?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time you're just going, okay, ceremony, this is what I think for that setup.
Yeah.
Reception, I like these types of centerpieces for tables.
Right.
So you already have a little bit of knowledge there of what you're wanting, but now it's like, okay, let's start finalizing some of that.
Right.
Again, knowing nothing has to be final until like a month out.
Getting an idea. I will say, so we've kind of said this before, but Holt and I have been planning prior to us getting engaged. And so we've met with a lot of our big tier vendors. Yeah. And we actually just met with our florist for the first time not that long ago.
Did you?
We did.
Ooh, exciting.
Which, obviously, I love florals. So that was really fun for me. And it was really cool, like all the different types of flowers that she pulled up. I'm like, wait, I know these. I can say these by name, which is fun for me personally.
Right.
But I will say that was the longest and most in-depth meeting we've had thus far. Maybe aside kind of from planning. But I truly kind of didn't realize how much of the day kind of revolves around the floral aspect of like at least starting for the planning. Like you're literally seeing the start of the day, or not necessarily the start of the day, but like kind of, because you're doing all of the smaller things with like we started with my bouquet and then boutonnieres and like those kind of little
personal
pieces.
Items.
Yes. And then moving into, okay, what's your ceremony going to look like? Okay. And then what specifically is the altar? What's the aisle? What's outside of the ceremony space when people are first walking in?
That's the first thing they're going to see.
Yes. And then moving on to like cocktail hour, and then moving on to reception, and what's going to be like that. I think our meeting was super long, but honestly, we loved it. But I was just like, holy crap. I didn't kind of realize how long and how thorough this had to be, because it does. And that's really kind of what stemmed and opened our eyes more to the design process.
Exactly.
Which is wild.
Right. Because then you start there and then you're like, okay, now what linen do I think would look the best with now these flowers? And normally, at least here in Kansas City, majority of the florists do candles and all of the hardware, the vases, all of that.
Yeah.
For the centerpieces. So I say florist, but really it's just, any of it. Like candles are hand in hand with that as well.
Yeah. So, okay, I know this kind of depends on florist, but I also didn't realize that like the candles, the hurricanes, the tapers, if you choose to have like the little lights on tables, like there's actually so much more that goes into the florist than I, again, also realized.
Exactly. They're not just flowers.
It's so much stuff.
Right.
Which is awesome, because it's like, okay, I have one person to kind of take care of this. It's not like, additional rentals, stuff like that, depending on if they include it or not. But she then started going through that, and I was like, and then like bud vases instead of like full arrangements. I'm like, holy shit. This is a lot to think about.
Yes.
But it really does, like you said, it makes not only like then the ceremony come together, then if you're repurposing, but then also what linen and what chair and what table and all that stuff.
Yeah. What place setting? Do you want chargers? What color napkin?
Yeah.
How do you want the napkin folded? We can get into
On
the
the table.
nitty gritty details.
Yes.
But all of those like finer items would come later on. But it's really just, securing, okay, what rentals do we need in addition to what we already have now, either through the venue, because a lot of the venues do the tables and chairs, which I think we've talked about.
Yeah.
But do you like those chairs? Are you okay with those chairs? Do we need to bring in something else?
Yeah, you are either kind of starting from scratch, or you're in building, or you're kind of going off of what's already provided, or dang. It made my head spin at first. I'm not going to lie.
Right. But it's good that you've already done that, because it's going to be the same thing when you go through like deciding on a linen, like do we want a patterned linen, things like that. Like you're going to walk through basically every part of the day like you just did with your florist. And you've already now, okay, the wheels are turning. We have some ideas now that have been presented. That's what we've signed on right now. But of course, knowing, I found this other, altar design that I'm like, ooh, I absolutely love this. We want to change this. Right. But you mentioned repurposing too. Yeah. And that's a big thing that I always try to do. Yeah. Repurpose as much as you can from the ceremony to the reception. So that way you're not paying double. Right. For a moment that's only a 30-minute ceremony. Right. Right. Well, and repurposing it in such a different way that like it looks like a totally different, what's the word I'm looking for? Not like setup, but like a totally different arrangement. That it's just like, oh no, that was used at the ceremony. And now I've paid more attention to that. But I'm like, wait, those were lined the aisle, and now they're down the center of the head table. Right. It's like, I just didn't think of those things for the longest time. Right. And I think it used to be traditionally just like, okay, we're just going to repurpose the bouquets. Yes. Like we're going to repurpose those bouquets on the head table with some candles and call it good. Yeah. But now it's like, no, we can like have things built in a way and designed in a way where it can be broken apart and used and again, repurposed in a way that you're not having to pay double. Right. Which I cannot reiterate probably again, but also now being a bride. Woo, that's fun. Yes, she is. But now being a bride and being on that side, I cannot reiterate enough how important it is to hire people that you trust, because I don't know how I would do any of this without our planner. Yeah. Literally have no idea.
and her just like bringing things to the table and creating the design deck, it's just like, I wouldn't have gotten this on my own. I also don't know what looks good together.
Right.
So then like they're asking me questions and I'm like, honestly, whatever you think, I trust you. Like, I'll tell you if I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I trust that you guys know what you're doing, because you do. You know more than me. So just saying again, hire the planner.
Yeah.
Hire the coordinator, hire the planner to whatever degree you
guide
can.
you.
Just have them. Have them with you, because it's so helpful.
It really is, because it's overwhelming.
Yes.
There's so many little details and you don't know where to begin. And the other thing with rentals, it's like, I know what rental company has what.
Yes.
Like, you know, one company would be like, okay, great, we would want to do chairs from them because they're going to have enough. They're going to do the setup. You know, there's so many little details that you're not necessarily thinking about.
No.
Whereas like, oh, if you need drapes, I know this vendor has drapes and they're going to be the most, you know, I don't like the word affordable, but most cost effective.
Yes.
If we go with this vendor, or okay, you want a black and white checkered dance floor, let's go with this vendor, because I know that, again, this is the most cost effective option.
Yeah. And you guys cut out so much of the
research.
Yes, that like I understand. I mean, thankfully being in the industry, even Holt said, and maybe we said it in the last episode, like how not easy, but like kind of easy the process was for us to find our big vendors, because I've already worked with them. So we're not having to search, we're not having to vet, we're not having to think of all the things. It's kind of like, hey, I kind of like this person and this person. Out of these two, what do you think? Like, it did make it a lot easier for us.
Way more streamlined.
Yes, but that's where like the planner comes in to play and comes in to be so helpful, because if you're not already in the industry and know these things, then you get so bogged down with the price. You get so bogged down with the amount of like photographers out there. Like some people say they talk to 20 and I'm like, why'd you do that to yourself?
Don't do that. No.
Yes. I'm
Pick
like,
two. Talk to two.
Exactly. But that's
or
where
just
like,
one.
Yes. That's where the planner comes into play of like, I know your style, I know your budget. These would be great for you, rather than getting so overwhelmed. And then especially when it comes to rentals and those kinds of things, when you said there can be a large amount of rentals, there's so many things that fall under the rental category that can also be, I mean, that's the part that kind of intimidates me a little bit of, but like,
that's okay, because you have a planner.
Exactly. Yes. I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You just tell me what I need and I'll say, great.
Right. Or if there's anything like, do you envision like having a lounge area, you know, like out, if you're, let's say dance floors outside, which is not very common in here in Kansas City, but that's what I'm picturing right now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want like a lounge area off to the side of the dance floor because I want people to be close, but if they want to take a break, or like for grandparents, things like that, it's like, okay, great. We're going to need to rent lounge furniture.
Yes.
Here's who I would recommend for that, based on, again, your style, your budget, all of those things.
Yeah. Is it hard? Because I was going to say, as helpful it is, you guys also kind of have to be the bad guy at times to be like, listen, that's going to make your life worse. Or like, listen, I promise you, you're not going to want that. Is that like a hard area to be in sometimes, where it's like, I want you to have everything that you want and then some, and more and beyond. Yeah. So is it hard sometimes when you do kind of have to be not the bad guy, but you do kind of have to be like,
this is what it is.
This is what it is. Like, how do you handle that?
It just totally depends on the couple.
Yeah.
Like some are like 100% trust me, and they're like, okay, great, I trust you. Again, I'm not going to make you do a bunch of research and send me a bunch of options when it's just a waste of both of our time, because I know this is the vendor that you need to use for this. Right. So it, again, all comes down to trust, which we've always said, like, just trust the professionals, that they know what they're doing. Yeah. But like, I can think right now, I have a couple that they're struggling with this because they're trying to piece it all together and they're trying to see all their options. Yeah. Again, cost is a big factor here. It's like, sure, I could, but the other thing is they don't want to have a bunch of different vendors. Yeah. So they're trying to reach out to vendors that are out of state and have things. But then it's the risk of, I've never worked with them before.
Travel
They've
fees.
Never been in the venue necessarily before. Like yes, you could outsource it to one vendor in a different state and have them bring it all in.
But is that the right answer? Be more, is that going to be more of a headache, more concerning, more cause for concern? Right.
Instead of just going with, okay, let's use these 3 vendors here in Kansas City. We're getting these items from them. That yes, it's more contracts. I get it. Yes, it's more processing fees and all of those things. Right. But it's going to make your life so much easier. And in the grand scheme of it all, like at the end of the day, your wedding is an investment.
Yep. Yes, it is.
You're going to be spending money, and it's going to be some of those contracts and proposals. You're going to be like, oh my God, it costs that much. And it does.
Yeah. I will say, I think I said this yesterday. I've said this to a couple of my friends. I feel the weirdest being on both sides now. Mm-hmm. I feel the weirdest conflicting feelings of like, I said this as a joke. I was like, oh, I am a part of the problem. And I also kind of hate the problem. Like, I'm on both sides. Like, as a bride, I'm like, holy, that costs how much? But then I'm on my side of like, no, I deserve to be paid this much.
And here's the reason why.
Yes, yes. It is the hardest thing to kind of be like, oh, I get it. But then I also am like, oh, but there are people on the side that don't see the other side yet. They will when they get to wedding day, and they're like, oh, that made so much sense. Obviously, it all comes together, but it is the most conflicting feeling where I'm like, that costs how much? And I'm like, well, Grace, they deserve to be paid that. But I'm like, holy shit, at the same time. It's such a weird battle.
I know.
In my head.
I know.
I'm going to say it. I kept saying it wrong, but like I think I keep saying like I hate the problem as much as I am equally a part of the problem. Mm-hmm. Not the problem, but like that's what I'm saying in my head.
Right. Well, and that's also why, I mean, it's important to know, okay, great. Like, yes, we're talking, we have that first meeting. Yeah. And this is your dream wedding. These are all the things you would ideally love to have. And that's why it's like, okay, now let's go back to all these things you've talked about. Is this still a priority? Okay, great. Let's get some proposals. Once you see that cost, and you can say, is this as important to me as I thought it was?
Right.
And it's always about coming back to the reason why you're having the wedding day.
Exactly.
And I can promise you're going to be like, okay, it's not that important.
Yes.
Like even using like the linens that come with the venue, just a standard black or white.
Yeah.
Is it really that important to bring in a champagne linen for every table?
Yep.
Or can we bring in a champagne linen just for the key moments? Your head table, your welcome table, your cake table, to save some money.
Yeah, you're right. It takes a lot of thought and a lot of kind of it's not just like back and forth.
Right. It's not just like a one meeting with your planner and it's all sorted out.
Right.
It's a lot of work, but that's kind of what, again, you have your team now, and now let's dive in and put it all together and bring in anybody else that we need to bring in to make it all happen.
Right. So we might be backing it up a little bit, but also this can be a part of like this time of the planning process. And we maybe have talked about save the dates, but we don't remember. We don't remember, but also you might be getting new information, so who cares? If you already knew it, then you're just going to hear it again.
Skip over this
part.
Section.
But at this time in the process too, also kind of speaking from experience and from the business side, you should definitely be talking to your photographer about engagement photos, because that goes into your save the dates. Mm-hmm. So you should definitely be talking to them either like kind of a little bit after booking, depending on when you book them, obviously. You might have some time, but if you have a shorter engagement, maybe not. But you need to be thinking about what season you want your engagement photos in. Because obviously, I always like to tell people, sometimes it's nice to do opposite of your wedding season. So you have pictures in both seasons, but maybe you don't have time for that. Mm-hmm. But you should save the dates out when?
It depends on a number of things. But if you have a bunch of out-of-town guests, or if your wedding is going to be destination, depending on when your wedding date is, you can send out the save the dates a year out. Mm-hmm.
Is it like frowned upon to send them out like really far in advance?
No, I think it's good, because then again, people can plan financially. Again, it's more so knowing your guest list. If a bunch of people, if you're getting married in Kansas City, pretty much every guest is from Kansas City, there's no need to send it out that early.
Right.
I would say the standard is like 6 to 9 months out as far as when to send.
Okay.
But it, again, not frowned upon to do it earlier than that.
Because I am curious, because I've thought about this personally for myself. Let's say your time frame for sending out save the dates is right around Christmas. Mm-hmm. Is that a good, like, that's like New Year's cards, Christmas cards. Is that a good time, or do you want to get it out before then?
I would do it before or after.
Okay.
Yeah, I would avoid, just because you want it to be delivered as well, and then things get lost in the mail so frequently in general, especially around that time of year.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it to get like lost in the shuffle with all the Christmas and New Year's cards. Right. That I was like, oh, should you send it out before? Should you send it out after?
Right.
And you're saying either way, just don't maybe do it in the heightened time frame, because I didn't even think about the fact of that's an excess time for mail, that it's probability of getting lost.
Oh my gosh.
I hear horror stories about save the dates, and it scares the shit out of me.
It's out of your control. You can only do what you can.
That and invitations, those scare me.
And the invitations are a bigger one, which we'll get into at a later date. I will keep note of this. We're not hitting on invitations today. But I mean, there's only so much you can do, but there are some tricks as far as making sure they're delivered, and they're not destroyed in the mail and all of that.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So make sure Anytime in that time frame, but especially if you're making people travel, doesn't hurt to do it earlier.
Yep.
And make sure you're talking to your photographer. If it's really important to you that you want a specific season, make it known to them. And if it's a heightened season, they might not be able to make it work. But that's up to you and your photographer. But if that is something that is of importance, talk to them about it right away after booking, especially if you have a shorter time frame.
Right. And even then, playing devil's advocate a bit, like I have a wedding coming up and they had a shorter time frame, but they still wanted to do save the dates and a formal invitation. They hadn't had their engagement shoot yet. It's like on the books, but it's not going to be done by the time we need them. So thankfully they had, the proposal was photographed. So they used, for their save the date, they used photos from that.
Right.
So you can always use, obviously the preferred would be to have your engagement shoot, use those photos for the save the date, but there's always ways around it too if the timeline is a concern.
And you don't even have to use photos.
Right.
I mean, I would say like 80% or like higher usually use some sort of a photo itself, but you might not have to, and then it doesn't even concern you, and then send it out whenever you want.
Exactly. That like handwritten note ones are really popular now.
Yeah, those are really cute.
But again, then that's a trend. Do we like it? Is it gonna stick? We don't know.
Will we like it 20 years from now, 5 years from now? Who knows?
As long as it's true to you and you like it, that's what matters.
Exactly. Okay, so then save the dates. Now we're moving into, again, these are kind of like some of the finer details. Are we still kind of moving into those finer details?
Yeah.
More of those finer details?
Yeah.
What are
finer
those?
details?
Like, what are those?
Let's think. I mean, the layout plays into that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a fine detail, but it goes hand in hand when you're talking through all these design things. Like, great. What are all the moments that need something?
Yeah.
Something to it.
Right.
So things to consider with layout. Do you like the look of round guest tables, or do you like the look of the long, like family style guest tables? Do you like a mix of both? And then from there, what's included with your venue? How many tables do they have?
Right.
If you want all long tables, you'll likely need to rent some in because they probably won't have enough. So that's really a starting point. And then as far as where's the couple going to be sat? Do you want to be at a head table with just your wedding party? Do you want to be at a head table with your wedding party and plus ones? Do you want to be at a sweetheart table, just the two of you?
Yeah.
Which all, of course, plays into that design as well.
Yeah. And a DJ band.
DJ or a band. Do you want to bring in an actual dance floor?
Yeah. Yeah, because everything kind of revolves around where that's placed.
Right.
Yeah. And I guess guest count too. Really, like, what do we even, at least the conversation we've been having of what can we even do with this amount of people? Like, are there things that we like that we can't do with X amount of people? Right. That one's, we'll get into guest count later on. We've already talked about it. We don't need to go back into it. We'll get back into it probably in the fourth part, but that one's stressful. Anyway, yes. But like,
at least, for now, like on the high end, let's say, the maximum amount of guests that would be there, I would go off of that for now. So then you see, okay, great. And if it's like you said, if you're like, oh, I really don't like the look of this or anything like that, then it's like, okay, great. Well, let's go back to the drawing board with that guest list. What do we need to get it down to?
Yeah.
But that's where it's tricky too, because like if you've already sent out your save the dates, kind of tied in.
Yeah, that's true. A part of layout from a planner perspective, do you have any like pros and cons to either like certain types of layouts, as far as like I feel like a trend is a lot of like the long banquet tables. Would you see that as like, I don't know, because it's usually, you still see a lot of rounds or you see a lot of like mixing in, but is there any like pro or con to that, to either or?
Yeah. I mean, with the round tables, you have somebody across from you on all sides. Like, it's supposed to be more like inclusive, I guess. But at the same time, the table's so large and there's so much going on. It's not like you're really going to be able to talk to the person on the opposite side of the table from you. So you're, from that perspective, there's not really that much of a difference as opposed to doing like a long with people spread out further down. You might not be able to see them at your table, but you're not really going to be talking to, again, people all the way at the end of the other table.
Right. That's true.
My first thought is the biggest thing I recommend is using what is already included and going from there.
Yeah. honestly, why not?
Right.
This is what's, you're already paying for this. So you might as well go ahead and take advantage.
Traditionally, again, is going to be rounds.
Yeah.
But I always ask because I feel like a lot of like Pinterest photos and all that is all the long tables. So people are showing me visual examples of what they're wanting. And I'm like, okay, well, this is all long tables, just so you're aware.
They only have 10.
Right.
We need 20.
Right. And that's great. Let's use them. Let's do a mix.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say most commonly we're seeing is a mix of round tables, a mix of long tables. Again, because it's what they can make work at the venue without having to spend more money to bring in something that's technically not needed.
Am I making this up, or is there a, with guest count, let's say you have a higher guest count, is there a pro and a con to using like all rounds or all banquets? Like, would you have more room with banquets?
Depending on the space itself.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I didn't know in my head, and I'm like, am I making that up? Or
I'd have to play around with it.
Yeah. It all depends, I guess, on the venue.
It depends on so many different things.
Yeah. Do you have a personal preference between a full head table or a sweetheart table?
I don't know if I do.
I do.
Do you? Tell me.
Holt and I have talked about it because I told him, I was like, as much as and I kind of go back and forth on it, honestly, because looking back at Abby's wedding photos, I'm like, it was so nice that I was sitting next to her and I got to be up there with her. But then I sat back and I was like, yeah, but when did I actually really talk to her? And I told Holt, I was like, obviously I know we probably want everyone there with us, but also this is our only time during the day that literally we just have to spend together, and we're probably going to be sitting there for 10 minutes. Like we're
short.
Probably going to sit there for like 15 minutes, maybe eat something. But I was like, I think this is a good time to really just focus on us, let the guests mingle. Also, like, depending on your wedding party size, I want my bridesmaids to sit with their significant other. I can't have a 80-person head. I'm not gonna have that many people, but like I can't have that big of a head table. But like I would want you to sit with Zach. I would want Abby to sit with Adam. Like, so I would rather you guys go all sit with your people, and then we're literally still in the same room. We'll be together all night. But I'm like, but that's when I want my time with my person.
Right.
So
I think I'm just thinking of it more so I'm still in like the design brain. But from what you're saying, from again the bride and groom, or the bride and bride, or the groom and grooms, the couple's perspective. Yeah. I totally agree with what you're saying.
That's why I was kind of asking pro and con, because I didn't know if you were going to say a pro or con, because I was like, I honestly don't know if there is. I'm thinking more personal side of a pro.
Right, and I'm just thinking, how's it going to look visually?
Yes.
Could we do something more statement-like with the sweetheart table? Yes, of course.
Yes.
Like, can you reuse like your altar just to frame the two of you? That's just a very like, I don't want to say basic or standard, but that's very common to do. And it's going to pop a lot more if it's just the two of you and we can dress that table up than if it's something behind the two of you, but then everybody else spread out behind you or to the side of you.
Right. That makes sense.
A lot of people will do like sweetheart table, and then like we call them VIP tables, basically like surrounding. So those could be like your long tables, which is going to be, your wedding party and their plus ones or family.
Right.
I've had people do a head table just of family. Yeah. And it's like a big like king's table for them and their family to sit at.
I didn't think about that. That's kind of cool.
There's so many different ways to do it.
There are, yeah.
Which is no right or wrong answer. I know.
Whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
If you want to just sit with your person, do it. If you want to sit with all your friends, do it. Yeah. You can't go wrong either way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so taking a step back from the finer details, now looking at like, you're kind of thinking about the weekend as a whole. Yeah. Rather than just wedding day.
Exactly.
So that would be starting, like, would you start with like rehearsal dinner?
I would.
That would be where you would kind of go. When do you start like talking about that, or like kind of figuring out where you want to go? Around
the same period. So I would still get all of your vendors for the wedding day hired first. Yeah. Because that's the main event. And then once that is all, you're not all sorted, I don't want to say, but once you have that figured out, then moving on to those additional weekend activities, I'll call them. So, but rehearsal is pretty common that you're going to have your rehearsal and then your rehearsal dinner. Right. So you're going to need to book a space more than likely. That is something, but it's not like you have to book it as far out as the wedding day itself. Right. You know what I mean?
Because it's usually a place that's not having weddings. They're having smaller events, or it's a restaurant with a private room, like stuff like that.
It depends on how many people. So that guest list again, who's going to be invited to the rehearsal dinner? Yeah. Where do you draw the line?
Is there an etiquette with that? Like, is there people you should invite, or is it like?
I mean, for myself, I just had people that were there for the rehearsal. So the wedding party, they're plus ones.
Yeah.
And then I just had family, but I drew the line. Like I didn't have cousins or anything like that. And it just depends on so many things. I'm like, I can't give, this is what it should be.
Which is why, not to go away from rehearsal dinner, but that's why I also feel like welcome parties have become a big thing.
Totally.
Because then you get to include everyone.
Exactly.
But you're not buying them all at dinner.
Right. So you're starting more intimate.
Yeah.
The more intimate group for the dinner. And then that from there, it depends. Some people, because like some venues, you have to do your rehearsal on a Thursday.
Right.
So then some people will do rehearsal dinner Thursday.
Yeah.
Friday welcome party, Saturday wedding.
Right.
Or go straight from the rehearsal dinner on Friday straight into a welcome party on Friday as well.
Yeah.
Where it's just extended to everybody else.
Yeah. Which I've heard, and I think we've actually talked about this before. Earlier on, I asked this question. It was we used to do it and we don't do it anymore. I don't think we've carried it into season 2. But
was it the trends that we did?
Yeah,
for better, for worse?
For better, for worse. I was like, what is it?
Wait, what is that?
We
R.I.P.
had
season 1.
I know. We had like welcome parties, like for better or for worse. And I remember bringing up myself, because I've heard people say this, of like, well, isn't that just a wedding before the wedding? Like you're seeing everyone. Like I don't know. The more I think about it too, I'm kind of like, I mean, yeah, you are kind of seeing everyone the night before, which I'd be fine with. But I know some people are like, well, I feel like we're just going to go do the same thing the next day. And it's like, yeah, but also I feel like pro-wise, it takes the pressure off of you to have to speak to everyone, especially if you have a larger guest count or you want to just be able to put your energy into different things.
Yeah.
Like, talk to them the night before. You can obviously say hi and acknowledge them the day of the wedding, but you don't have to have a full-on conversation because you had one the night before. So then they're happy they got to see you and have time with you. And then there's people maybe that weren't there that you got to see on wedding day that you can talk to. But then you're not feeling bogged down with, I need to see and talk to everybody.
Yeah, totally agree. But then the other perspective is, like you said, the wedding day, when did it become, it has to be every other day leading up to it, there's an event happening.
Right.
And you're planning for, and you have to socialize and be 100% and turned on when your emotions are so heightened already.
Yeah, I think I go back and forth on that one, because I'm like, would my social battery be okay for that? Or would...
And you would get through it.
Yes.
But
or would
you
a
also want to
rehearsal dinner
enjoy
be enough?
yourself.
Yes, yeah. And I want to be good for my wedding day, because obviously your social battery has to be extremely high for that.
Also, people are normally drinking.
Yeah.
So then there's this other layer of, okay, you have one too many and then you're hungover on your wedding day. You don't want that.
Yeah. I also kind of have a hot take that I'm curious your opinion. Should you talk to everyone on your wedding day? Should you address every guest?
It's not possible.
And I don't think
unless you're having like a quick high moment, you're not going to have a meaningful conversation with every one of your guests on your wedding day.
And that's something that I think is an old tradition that's now still an expectation, but weddings are so different, where it's like, weddings, you didn't used to have hundreds and hundreds of people, and you didn't used to have all of these parts of the wedding day. So back then it was more of an expectation, because it was different and you had more time to probably talk to people. Whereas nowadays, I hate that people are like, well, you need to say hi. And it's like, if you want to. Right. But personally, I don't think you should. You are showing them that they're important by inviting them. Like, yes, obviously you would love to talk to everyone, but also like, then what's the point of your DJ? What's the point of your band? What's the point of all this stuff you've gotten that you want to enjoy too, that you want your friends to enjoy? Like, I don't know. That one, to me, I hear that all the time. And I'm like, why would you eat dinner for 10 minutes so you can make it around to every table? Like, say hi to whoever you can, to whatever capacity you can. But if they don't come up and talk to you, don't be hurt by that.
I was just going to say, I think it's on the guest to come up and say something to the guests of honor. Like, yes, you're the host, but you're also the guests of honor.
Yes. Yeah. And like, maybe say goodbye. But also, they know you're coming. They know you're there. But know when to not go talk to them too.
Well, like at our wedding, we attempted to, and that wasn't a part of the plan. Like, we just both, our adrenaline was rushing through our bodies, and neither one of us had an appetite, and we were sitting up there like, okay, let's like, we wanted to walk around and talk to people. So we attempted to talk to everybody, but then again, it's like you can't get through depending on your guest count. Right. At least for ours, we were not able to get through everybody, not even half.
It's okay.
Right.
You wanted them there, you invited them. that, in my opinion, should be enough.
Totally. And you should be able to enjoy your reception and be on the dance floor and having a good time and not feel like you have to just walk around and host.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was... That's been on my hot take ticket. So I wanted to say it.
To talk about it.
Needed to get that out there because I've heard that a lot.
Yeah,
and
well,
I'm like,
at your wedding, you do not need to do that. And
I'm
if
not
I
talking
see you
to
starting
anybody.
to, I'm pulling you.
I'm not talking to anyone on my wedding day. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, not a single person.
Don't come up to me. No, I'm just kidding.
You look from afar. You admire.
Well, I think that's just been something that is stressing me out because I'm like, we're going to have a very large guest count. And there's some people there that I'm not going to know. And obviously I would love to meet them and say hi, but I also don't want my wedding day to be filled with, hi, nice to meet yous.
100%.
Like I want to meet them. Absolutely. Especially important people if there's family I don't know. But I also want to dance on the dance floor with my sister. I want to have a dance with Holt. I want to do whatever I want to do. I don't want to feel like I have to talk to everyone and then I can have fun. I just want to have fun.
Good. Then let's do it.
Okay.
And you've already put it out there. You're not addressing people at your wedding. So
I'm not
if they want to say hi to you, they are coming up and saying hi to you where you are and not distracting you from what you're doing in that moment.
Yes, you're right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Well, speaking of wedding guests.
Yes.
I hear you have some things you want to say.
I just feel like there needs to be some wedding guest etiquette. I think
101.
I think people need to be reminded as a wedding guest how you should act.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
I think I being a part of weddings too, obviously as a vendor, you see certain things from a different perspective as a guest. So it's easier to kind of pick up on, hey, you probably shouldn't be doing that, or hey, like, don't. Oh, I have so many thoughts. The biggest thing for me that I want to bring up, you step on my soapbox for the next 20 minutes.
There you go.
Thank you. If you are a wedding guest, please, please, please stop talking during speeches and dances. That has... Thank you.
Could you be more rude?
Literally, I don't know why this has become such a huge thing in the last year. I got to the point last year where I was shushing people because it was so bad. And it's like, carry on your conversations later. They're not more important than what is happening in this moment.
You are here to witness what is happening in this moment.
You are literally here because of these people that are out there right now. Like, there is nothing more important. You do not need to be watching a fucking sports game on your phone.
Literally.
Put it away.
There will be another sports game. There will never be another wedding day.
There will never. This is a one-time thing. Someone is maybe dancing with her dad. She's crying. She's crying. She's wanted this her whole life.
Took a long time to decide what song. The band has practiced that song for you to enjoy.
Yes. Or it's someone special that is saying something about the bride and groom. These are very special, intentional moments that you are ruining by thinking your conversation or whatever is happening on your phone is more important than that moment. And let me tell you, it's not. It's not at all.
Yeah. I feel like not to play devil's advocate, but I feel like some venues, half the time, the sound and things like that.
Yes.
Some people don't even know necessarily what's happening because they're so far in the back or so far off to the side.
Yes.
And that's why it's important to make sure all these things are sorted out. But sometimes it's unavoidable. And again, that's not every wedding though.
Yes. But it is to an extent. Because maybe the first minute or so, you don't realize what's happening. But you can clearly tell the room is getting quiet. And at least the people in the table next to you or maybe two ahead of you can hear you.
Yeah.
Be that guest that tells them to shut up. Please
punch them in the face.
Because your wedding photographer will too.
No violence.
No violence. We're not condoning violence.
Yeah, we hate violence.
Just be nice. I don't know when it kind of became a thing where wedding guests felt so entitled to so many things. It's this day is not about you.
Yeah. It's a privilege that you get to be here.
It is. And these people took the time to think about you and invite you.
And spend a lot of money
on you. So give them that respect. It's not that hard. It's dances last 5 minutes.
Not even.
Speeches last maybe 15. A good solid hopefully. All 3. Yeah. No more than maybe 3 to 4 speeches should last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But what else are you there for? You're literally there for the wedding.
And then you can socialize the rest of the time.
Yes. 100%.
What else do guests do that piss you off? I know.
Yes.
RSVP.
That one scares the shit out of me.
RSVP to the wedding if you're going to be attending.
I will say,
let us know.
I haven't been the best with RSVPs. I will get them in, but I kind of have.
Wait, you're a bad RSVPer? You do it the week of?
Best. No. I do it before. I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst. And now I will, being on the other side, I will RSVP.
The second I get it, I'm like, I know if I'm going or not.
Yes. I think it's more so special circumstances where my couples have invited Holt, and I haven't known if he was able to come, so I waited a long time.
Yeah, we'll blame it on Holt.
Very sorry. I am going to blame it on Holt. But those stress me out, of the people that say, and I've seen a lot of things like on Instagram lately of we had 10 extra people show up. And it's like, what the fuck?
I had a wedding and 30 extra people showed up.
I was going to ask about that one. Yeah. Why would you do that? Don't do that.
Yeah.
RSVP. Immediately.
And as the couple, have a good way to track those RSVPs, because you don't want it to be an issue where they did RSVP and you missed it.
Yeah. Then that's on you. That's your fault. Oh, I can't wait to have a spreadsheet and hound people down.
If you need a document, I know I'm not your planner, but I can help.
You don't think I'm probably going to ask?
Yeah, but I do have one that
I'm already thinking about that.
But then hand in hand with your RSVP, if you have a food allergy, and a real food allergy, we're not talking we're not talking
not them fake ass
I
allergies.
prefer gluten-free, but I'm fine if I have it. You need to communicate that, because shockingly, the caterer's not going to be prepared for you if this is not told ahead of time.
They can't whip that out of their ass.
No, they can't.
They prepared for the day, and that's on you.
You can't.
Don't bring them fake ass allergies.
If you need a kosher meal, you need to communicate that.
Yep. And I bet there's a place for you to communicate that when you RSVP,
baby. If you're doing it correctly, there should be
a way to do that.
What else you got?
Another one that drives me mad about the ceremony. 2 things. 1, Sarah, if the ceremony's at 4 p.m.,
what time do you arrive?
When should you show up?
3:58. No.
No, I punch you.
No.
No, you do not.
Doors open pretty much at every venue 30 minutes before.
Yes. Please show up at least like 10 minutes before is nice, because it takes a lot. There's maybe a guest book.
Right.
You're getting there. You're maybe talking to people. There's a line. You're trying to figure out where to sit and find
grabbing
a seat.
a program. You're reading that program.
Yes. You're enjoying yourself. You're having a great time. Do not show up at 4 p.m. if the ceremony starts at 4 p.m.
You will be locked out.
You will be locked out, or you will be ruining a moment, or you're not a part of it and you don't get to see it. I understand things happen. Maybe you hit some traffic.
Maybe there's a wreck.
Maybe, those things happen, of course. But the amount of people I've also seen walking into weddings 5 minutes before it starts, or at the time of the ceremony supposed to be starting. I don't think I've ever had a ceremony actually start on time.
Really?
Except the churches, because they are sticklers.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Those ones, yes.
Barb.
But yes, good old Barb. That wedding is starting right on time because you need to. But a lot of mine start maybe 5 to 10 minutes later, because
and that's what we
people are still showing up.
We're not going to start it if we're like, it's half empty.
Yeah. It's half empty, or like we see all these cars in the parking lot, they're getting out. Like, what are you doing? You should have been here 10 minutes ago. So
do you hear that?
They'll come for you. They're coming for you right now. That one, I hate seeing people walk in right at time. And again, there are circumstances where you can't help it. But I'm seeing like 20 people show up at the start, and I'm like, that's not an accident.
Right.
That was your fault.
Right. And that's something too, if you are getting married, note that on your website where you have all that information that hopefully, if you're a guest, read it. Read the website, because any information is going to be on there. Parking situation, what time to arrive, what to wear, do I get a +1, is it an open bar, all the things.
They're doing that for you. They're not doing it for themselves. They're literally doing that for you.
For information.
So look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're trying to help you.
Yeah.
Over communicate the hell out of it.
Put it on the homepage. Put it on the Q&A page.
Yes.
Put it on the RSVP page. Why not?
And also, don't bring a +1 if you don't have one. That's all I gotta say about that.
Rude.
That's all
and
I
if you
say.
are bringing a +1, maybe don't make it like somebody that like the couple knows but like didn't invite to the wedding.
Has that happened? Have you had that happen?
my own. Love ya. But it's a little bit, that's awkward. It's a little awkward.
That's uncomfy.
A little uncomfy.
Oh no, that's bad.
It's like no offense at all, but it's like, this is kind of weird. I feel bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel bad on my wedding day.
On your wedding day, yes. Oof, didn't think about that. Didn't think about that one.
That's what I'm here for. That's a good one. All the tips and tricks.
All the tips. Oh, one last thing of ceremony. Obviously, everyone's sick of hearing this, but obviously we're still having to say it. Please stop taking your phones out at the ceremony.
Put it away.
Please. Your photo that's going to go on Facebook
is blurry.
It's not important.
your photo on your Android zoomed in times 5.
Obviously, we're maybe speaking to a demographic here, but also
Zach has an Android. I'm speaking to him.
Called out. But also people our age that I see taking videos of people walking down the aisle. Just be in that moment with them. Also, maybe they don't want that shared everywhere.
I know.
But like
they probably don't want it posted before they post about it.
Yeah.
I can tell you that much.
Exactly. Like just that moment's also, it's not about you. And again, like you don't need to be sharing that. No. Also, as a photographer, that's why I'm here.
Pay the big bucks.
That's why I'm there. So don't take it out, because then I have to take you out of it. And I don't want to do that.
But that's what you get.
That's what you get,
did
Grandma.
This to yourself, Nan. Betty.
Oh, man. Those are good ones.
George. Sorry, Granddad George. Not talking to you. Not talking to you.
Not my Granddad George, but all the other
Not
Georges.
Granddad George, but all the other Georges. Not Uncle George either.
No.
Any George, no George Downings. We're not speaking to the George Downings here, but
speaking to all the others.
Yeah.
Well, that's really.
Well, no, we got one more.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll let you take it away here.
This goes into the final point. Follow the seating chart.
Mm-hmm.
It's
there for a reason.
Don't make the day about you in any way, because it's not.
Why? What do you mean? Give me an example.
If you're supposed to sit at a table, sit at
there.
the damn table. You don't need to go sit somewhere else. You don't need to sit by other people. This seating chart was arranged for a reason.
And it took a lot of time.
Yes, and maybe it wasn't, you're not sitting here because of you. You're sitting here because the couple had to think about other people that needed to sit together or can't sit together.
Or they think maybe, you know what, you don't know this person, but they have this in common.
They'll know each other.
Be a human.
Yes. There was
a conversation.
There was a lot of thought put into the seating chart.
Yes.
Do not fight it. Do not ask to sit somewhere else.
Seat.
Yes.
You're
suck it up.
Back in school. You wouldn't fight the teacher.
No.
Maybe you would nowadays.
Well, maybe you would.
Again, in 2025, we're having to explain the basics of being a good human.
Being a good human and being a good wedding guest. Didn't think we'd have to have this conversation, but here we are.
What is life?
We've seen it all, folks. So all of that to say,
there's more. We could go on.
There is?
No, I'm kidding. I'm saying we could go on and on.
We could go on.
But that's the ones, hard-hitting ones we wanted to talk about today.
Just remember, when you're going to a wedding, you can
it's not
feel
about you.
Yeah, you can feel all the things you want to feel, but like leave it at the door.
Yeah.
It's not about you. You can have your
don't
own
wear
day.
white. Do we need to say that again in 2025?
Okay, I'm also curious.
Shades of ivory doesn't count. It does.
Okay, I was gonna say, are we talking like creams?
No cream. Don't wear cream.
Just literally stay away from any sort of shade of white.
Yes.
Like, it's not that hard.
I don't care if there's a pattern on your dress. Just don't risk upsetting the bride.
Yeah, just don't.
It's not worth it.
You just don't. Literally don't.
Unless the dress code specifically says, I want you in white.
Yes.
That's the only reason.
That is the only reason. Yeah. There. How many colors do we freaking have?
So many.
Find a different one.
There's a whole dang rainbow.
There's a whole rainbow.
And some.
Just don't choose white.
Or ivory. Or cream.
Or cream.
Or beige.
Any of those. Or beige, yes.
Or champagne. No.
It's kind of close. It's kind of close. A
Yeah.
little too close for comfort.
Basically-
Maybe just don't, unless you know it's okay to.
Right.
Sometimes just err on the side of caution.
Yeah. Just don't do it. It's not about you.
It's not about you. You know what? Just be a good person. And have fun.
Right.
Just have fun at the wedding. That's what they want you to do.
In real life, in real time, not behind a screen.
Yes. Yeah.
Just to reiterate that.
Show up on
Key
time.
piece one
put
more
the
time.
damn phones down and don't make it about you.
And boogie.
And boogie. And that's all we got to say about
down.
wedding etiquette.
Down.
I'm sure we'll probably have more of those as wedding season, as we're getting into wedding season. I always kind of forget until I'm a part of weddings that I'm like, oh, that's mean. Oh, that's rude.
Oh, this happened.
Oh, this happened.
No, add it to the list of
this
things
drama
I
that
didn't
I forgot
think would
about.
happen.
I blocked this away for 2 years. This happened 2 years ago at a wedding.
Yeah.
I'll just share that.
Yeah. We can unlock it at any point in time.
Don't worry. I'm sure it'll come up eventually. I have some good stories on the early years.
Yeah.
As we all do.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking of one of yours right now.
I'm curious.
It's okay. I'll talk to you about it.
Okay. All right.
Talk to you about it.
I'll talk to you about it.
Okay. We're not on the microphone anymore.
Well,
hopefully you feel informed, you newly engaged Grace and anybody
and other
else
people
listening.
Congrats to you too.
Congrats to you all.
Yes.
And again, going back to what we said in our first episode, breathe.
Breathe.
Just breathe.
Just breathe.
It's
Enjoy
important.
it.
It's an important day,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all going to work out.
It is. And we don't have all the answers.
And you can't control the weather.
All right, call me out, bitch. I literally told Sarah today, I was like, I already looked at the phone.
And I said, you're not getting married anytime soon. You need to let that
I'm still
go.
stressed.
Let's let that thought go.
I know. And it's funny because in my head too, I'm like, I'm not going to care. Like, I'm going to embrace it. And I know I would.
And it is what it is.
And it is what it is. And I know I would. I'm just now kind of like,
No, it's fine.
It's fine.
You're good.
Embrace it.
Let that one go.
And let it go. Embrace the day.
Yeah. Well, I hope you feel informed as much as
I feel very informed.
Okay, good. Great.
I feel
I don't even remember what we talked about. So hopefully it was educational for you all.
Hopefully it helped you. We'll have a few more of these.
Yeah, we have a couple more.
We have a couple
more.
more.
We'll get to them eventually. This was episode 3, and now we're on episode, I don't even know what episode, but basically
When
it took
this
us a
one comes
minute.
out. Yeah,
It took us a minute to get to part 2, but eventually we'll have a part 3 and possibly part 4.
Yeah, maybe part 5. Who knows how we're feeling?
Part 7. Who needs a 6?
We should just start a podcast.
All about how to get married. Wow.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Wild. We're on to something.
It's almost like we can have more of these.
I think we need to be cut off. And this is when the bartender takes our keys. Or when Sarah dies.
Still getting over that cold. Anyways. Well, happy for you. Happy wedding planning.
Thank you.
Happy wedding season.
Thank you.
All the things.
All the things.
And we'll see ya.
See you next time.
See you next week.
See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.